Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second annual TLC Roundtable on Teaching, Service, and Scholarship. I am Debbie Carpenter, your Roundtable facilitator for today, and I'm pleased to be here with all of you. This TLC session is sponsored by the College of Education in partnership with the Ashford Teaching and Learning Conference. Today, our intent is to further explore these topics with this year's recipients of the Ashford University President's Awards for Teaching, Service, and Scholarship. It's time to meet our panel. I'd first like you to join me in welcoming Dr. Elaine Alden from the College of Liberal Arts.
Hi, I'm looking forward to sharing with you today in this session.
We also have Kathleen Kelley from the College of Education.
Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And lastly, please welcome Dr. Emma Bate from the Division of General Education.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you all, ladies, for being with us. At this time, we're going to all pop off video so that we can focus on our content of our roundtable today, but we will be back to join everyone at the end of the session and look forward to your comments. So I'd like to begin by congratulating each of you for your distinguished work in your field. We were all able to view your biographies that accompanied this TLC presentation, and it makes us wonder about what's at your core. What is that one thing that sits at the heart of your practice? Emma, I'd like to start with you. What would you say is at your core when it comes to your teaching?
Thank you, Debbie. I would say that the center of my teaching is relationships. Students in the Division of General Education are just starting out on their college journeys. They're getting used to the fast pace of our classes, and they're learning really what it means to be in college. So it's really important to reach out to them and to provide a safe space for them to learn and to make mistakes. So I try to get to know students on a personal level and gain their trust so that they know they can come to me if they're having problems or they need a hand with anything. That way they're more confident in taking intellectual risks and trying out new ideas and ways of thinking.
Emma, thank you for that. Elaine, can you speak to your center regarding scholarship?
Sure. Thank you for asking, Debbie. As a social policy researcher, my work in scholarship has been primarily focused on influencing policies that support work-life balance and the unique needs of older workers, caregivers, parents, and early career entrants. So I consider my core focus to be making an impact. A lot of the people I interviewed in my research reflect our student demographic, so my work informs me in multiple ways. First, I can understand the lack of social support systems and have greater empathy for the balancing act our students face outside of the classroom. Second, I can share my research process and research findings to enhance student learning in my sociology and research methods classes. And I can also instill the making an impact mantra into my students to use in their professional and personal lives. So many people feel powerless in society today, and my students convey these feelings regularly. So helping them to understand the value of attaining their degree and believing in the power of one to make an impact is integral to what I do.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Kathleen, what about you? Can you share with us what's at your core regarding service?
Thanks, Deb. Service is who I am. It was instilled in me at a very young age that it's important to give back. My parents demonstrated the importance of service. They adopted 7 children, the majority African American, during the 60s and 70s. In addition to that, devoted over 30 years to helping the people of Haiti. Therefore, I learned the importance of volunteering and stepping up early on. I'm willing to go beyond my time in the classroom to help my students succeed, whether it's coaching them after an instance of academic dishonesty, or staying on the phone with them as they fill out a job application, which I really did. I also feel the need to do the same in my role as a full-time faculty member. I pride myself on being one of the first to volunteer, whether it's for a project or a committee. It's important to me that others know that I can be that person they can count on. For example, at 12:30 this morning, I got an email asking if I would do a blog post about our TLC sessions today. So of course I said yes.
Of course you did. Thank you, Kathleen. You know, as I listen to the three of you share, I note significant themes: relationships, emotional safety, empathy, involvement, initiative, and most of all, impact. I sense a deep commitment to the whole student at Ashford, stepping beyond the role of just academic instructor and doing what's needed to support our students' emotional well-being and sense of feeling valued and cared for. It's truly inspiring to hear, ladies. Now, Emma, with your teaching, Elaine with your scholarship, and Kathleen with your service, I can't help but note that these three are intertwined, that they not only complement but heavily impact one another. So I want to explore that a little further. Kathleen, let's start with you. Do you agree? And how might your distinction in service be impacted by your teaching and scholarship?
Debbie, I do agree. Our teaching, our service, and our scholarship are all intertwined. In my opinion, service, teaching, and scholarship, if they're not intertwined, then you're not doing your job right. We can't just teach without knowing our students and researching the best ways to serve our students. We shouldn't just be delivering material, but rather we should be facilitating our students' learning. To do this to the best of our ability, we must research methods and strategies to better reach and teach our students. I've been lucky enough to work with on a few UFP projects with a couple of instructors that are actually on the line right now, with Drs. Alan Belcher, Barb Hall, and Rebecca Wardlow over the years. My research has been from maximizing critical thinking in the online classroom, analyzing faculty and student performance as it relates to course completion, to bettering one of our top 10 courses. This research has certainly informed my teaching. I feel that my research has guided me to be a better instructor. As part of the Student Community Standards Committee and the Coaching Committee, our service there is necessary for these students to be successful. We are there to support our students, coach and mentor so they can return to their classes and earn their degree. In the same aspect, I also coach and mentor associate faculty, which Debbie is in charge of. Helping them understand our mission and our purpose also leads to our students' success. So yes, I believe that service and scholarship lead to better instruction, which is supposed to be our primary role.
Thanks, Kathleen. I don't know what I'd do without you, honestly.
It's been a week.
Elaine, how is your success in scholarship influenced by your service and your teaching?
Absolutely, all three are integrated for me. My work as a researcher in the area I research provides me with applied knowledge and valuable experience to share with students in regards to them gaining technical skills and in bringing the world of sociology to life. As a program chair, it informs the curriculum I create and my assurance that the program is allowing the skills attainment that students will need when they graduate. Also, my previous service work with initiatives such as the Ashford Equity Council are informed by knowledge I gain about lack of equality in my research, my academic knowledge of identity groups that often experience inequality, and my experience relating with students in my class and my program. As a last point, there is a unique way my research supports my work at AU and my own development. As a qualitative researcher, I have interviewed hundreds of people and am always moved by their life histories and their humanity, the experiences they've had, the choices they've made, and what they have overcome to be where they are. So in the classroom, I feel incredibly blessed to be in an environment where I not only aid student development by sharing what I know, but also have a chance to listen to what they know as well. You can learn so much from these opportunities to connect that can inform your own academic development, your research, and your ability to serve.
Elaine, thank you for that. Emma, let's have you chime in as well. How is excellence in teaching influenced by service and scholarship for you?
Well, I agree with Elaine and Kathleen about how interrelated these three areas are. Service and scholarship are both very important influences on my teaching. Like Kathleen, I've done a lot of research on pedagogy and how to make my teaching and the teaching of the associate faculty I manage more effective. As an example, Dr. Beth Haywood and I did a project that we presented last year at the TLC on improving instructor feedback, which we also presented at the Forbes School of Business think tank earlier this fall, so you may have seen it there. That project forced me to look at my own feedback and reassess how I was interacting with students, which I think has helped me improve my effectiveness in the classroom. It also allowed me to turn around and more effectively mentor and coach associate faculty in making their teaching more effective, which I think brings us back around to service, because outreach and professional development with associate faculty and sharing tips and innovations in this area provide important services to the university, as well as giving me new ideas that I can implement. I've learned a lot about teaching from our outreach with associate faculty.
Thank you all for helping us to appreciate how your own strengths have been influenced by your other roles within the university. Kathleen, your statement, I imagine, resonated with many in our audience. If all three aren't intertwined, you're not doing your job right. Thank you all for your insights. Now, we know that quality, caring, and innovation are the cornerstones of success for Ashford University. Andrew Clark has promoted this on many occasions when addressing how we might present our best selves to our students. How do each of you apply these cornerstones in your practice?
Debbie, I would like to address that if I may.
Emma, please do. Thank you.
For me, all three are important and feed into my teaching practice. I started off by saying that relationships are at the heart of my teaching practice. I think that taking the time to build relationships is a way to demonstrate to students that you care about them and about their success. Little things like remembering their preferred name or nickname or where they're from or even what their major is can build bridges that encourage them to stay engaged and learning, even if they struggle with the material at times. I tend to think, too, that innovation is a part of caring because the innovations are designed to make classes more engaging and relevant to students and to make teaching more effective. I want to give a little plug here for the presentation I'm doing with Beth Haywood at the TLC on Thursday. We'll be talking about how we design some new discussion prompts in Introduction to Cultural Anthropology that make anthropological concepts a little more relevant and concrete for students. We'd love to see you all there too. And finally, I think quality, and specifically a quality education, is what we're all trying to produce here. Caring and innovation help me to continue to improve my own teaching quality and also to continue to strive to create a more robust curriculum and higher quality educational experiences for our students. Thank you, Debbie.
Debbie, can I jump in here?
Yeah, Elaine, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, as we've been discussing this, I'm reminded of research that Dr. Justin Harrison and I presented at the TLC a couple years ago on social justice in higher education. And we shared a lot about how a college education, both the skills attainment and personal development aspects, are important to social mobility and attaining the tenets of the American dream. By partnering with students in the process and offering the elevated level of support that we all do in our classes at Ashford to help students succeed, we certainly exhibit innovation and are caring for them. But also, as I've spoken about, instilling in students the power they have within to not only elevate their opportunities, but to actively influence positive change in society, I think we show caring for the whole person, not just the student. This is a standard of quality that I set for myself, my classes, and my program, that I'm interested in the success and development of the whole person, the student they are, the future worker in the discipline, the provider for their family, and the citizen in society that I truly believe in them to make an impact in each of these roles.
Thank you so much. Kathleen, would you like to make a comment on Elaine's?
Please, I'd love to piggyback on that. I've always believed that quality matters. If you've done any course development, you know what I'm doing there, right? We owe this to our students and our coworkers. Quality should be the cornerstone of everything we do. With that, caring and innovation will come naturally. Last year, I had the privilege of creating the new College of Ed combined capstone course. This was a challenging task that took a considerable amount of time, effort, and cooperation from many, many different departments. What we stressed all along was that this had to be a quality course so that our students walked away from the College of Ed feeling confident about their learning experience and their respective program learning outcomes in the College of Education. I had the support from our dean and our associate dean to make sure that all aspects of the course were thoughtful and deliberate, and most importantly, that the course was innovative and student-centered. We set out to create a course that offered our students the ideal capstone experience. And not only did we do that, but we have also offered our students the tools needed to be successful in the next stage of their journey. This monumental task embodied caring, concern, and definitely innovation.
Ladies, thank you so much. You have all demonstrated your willingness to innovate your practices, your curriculum, in order that our students have a meaningful, high-quality academic experience. This couldn't happen if you didn't genuinely care about your students' success or well-being. And this also couldn't happen if you weren't willing to remain lifelong learners, open to growing from your own scholarly pursuits, but also from the experiences your students share with you. Thank you so much for walking your talk and sharing your own personal examples. And by the way, we welcome plugs of other TLC sessions, so keep them coming. Now, each of you has certainly given us a lot to think about in our approach to teaching scholarship and service. And I do want to be respectful of our time and prepare to open the floor for questions from our audience. But before we do that, what one piece of parting advice would you have for our listeners today? Audience members, in just a moment, I'll have you open your chat box so that you can engage with us. But Emma, let's start with you.
Sure. The big thing I would say is when you're teaching, when you're interacting with associate faculty, when you're interacting with anyone in the educational environment, is to remember that there's a person on the other side of the computer screen. In an online learning environment, students and faculty can feel isolated and cut off. So it's important to really help students and faculty feel like they're a part of a community.
Thank you. Kathleen, what about you? Any advice for our audience?
Stay engaged. I'd like to elaborate on what Emma has to say. It's always important to remember why we are here. We're here for our students, everything that we do. Therefore, all that we do should revert to that, whether it's course development or mentoring associate faculty. We need to remember to stay student focused. Our ultimate goal is for our students to earn their degree and to have the best possible educational experience. If we remember that, service, scholarship, and teaching all make sense.
Thank you, Kathleen. Elaine, how about you? What advice would you share?
Yeah, I hold myself accountable to this, and I think we all should remember that we have an important role in influencing this through our work. That for students through their education and also their lifelong goals, they should be continuing their learning, questioning and critiquing the information they encounter, and that as an informed individual with a degree and unique experiences, they have a powerful role to play as a citizen society. Helping them understand this is an important impact we can have now, and certainly empowers students to make an impact in the future.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to come on video, and I encourage you to do the same. I want to thank our inspiring panel for being with us today and for candidly sharing their insights on the topics of teaching, service, and scholarship. I'd love those of you in our audience to open up your chat box. I'm going to do the same so that we can entertain your questions and comments for our panel. Feel free to mention them by name in the chat box if you would like, so that they can address your questions and comments.
Yeah,
Rebecca,
Deb, let me get that first one there.
yeah, would you?
Rebecca Wardlow, you know how, because you're the one that taught me how to do it all, and you have people like you that support you and work with you. So it's always a with. It's not you're doing it on your own.
But I still like to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you didn't get the text at 12:30 this morning that said, could you do the blog?
Clearly not. And had I answered, it would have been differently than you
Right?
did.
Well, it's certainly, I know just in my personal working with KK, you know, anytime there is something that needs to be done or a moment of crisis or just a, hey, does anybody happen to have a few minutes to, KK is always the first to say, I'm on it, I got it, I'm doing it, it's done. So, you know, it is just, I think, clear in just the way you were raised, Kathleen, I call you KK, that, you know, this is something that you watched your parents do. They took initiative, they got involved, they made a difference. And just to know that that is what's in your heart, you wouldn't do anything different. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll back up and make sure that I haven't missed anything. Any other comments for our panel? Any other ideas of really how perhaps some of the things you've heard within this discussion has influenced your own practice, or that you see a commonality in your work? Oh, good. Well, it looks like Ted really appreciates the how they are intertwined, these three, and that they just very naturally influence one another. Excellent.
Well, I feel like I'm very lucky to be part of this panel. When I look at the other two ladies and what they've accomplished, I'm inspired, and I'm excited for Emma's your next presentation. I'll hit that one too. And Elaine, I'd like to talk to you about that whole balance thing that you've been working on. So,
yeah, I'm not sure I've got it quite down yet, but certainly I'm working on it.
But I really think, we tend to put so much pressure on ourselves to be the quote unquote expert in the room when it comes to our own courses and interacting with students. And Elaine, I love what you said about really opening up and listening to the experiences and the passions and the challenges of our own students. We have so much to learn from them. And every time we have a new course, that is a new group of students and a new opportunity for us to grow as faculty. So I just love that has been an integral part of your passion and your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish sometimes I had a bit more time with them to really get to know more.
Yeah, I agree. It goes too fast. KK, looks like you. Jen has a comment for you. I think you're a superhero, right? You just, you've got your cape there. We can't quite see it, but we know it's there behind you.
No capes, right?
Yeah, well, and isn't it fun through Ashford TLC or the host of committees that all of you are involved in, projects, prior presentations and research, that you have a chance to come together with colleagues and really grow and develop your own expertise through exchanging ideas with others. I think that's one of the most exciting things we do really well at Ashford, is to encourage this collegial conversation and presentation with people that with various people through, within your college and across colleges. That certainly is a wonderful way for everyone to become empowered.
I think it's also important to remember, especially in regards to scholarship, that the UFP program that we have access to really allows us to buy time, which is often what's most needed when we're trying to do scholarship, especially when I'm trying to do qualitative scholarships. So I've been really lucky with the UFP process in finding time or being able to buy myself out of a class just to get that extra time. So always keep your eye out for the notices we get on the UFP, because it's definitely worked for me in finding extra time to work on my scholarship.
I would agree with that. I'm trying to think. Beth and I have been working together a long time, and we've gotten, I don't know, maybe 3 UFPs, and it's the same thing. Most of the stuff that we've done wouldn't have been possible without the UFP program. And I would say too, to sort of give some credit to the people that we work with, is that I don't think I would be as effective at what I do if I wasn't surrounded by so many really awesome people. I've called Beth's name a bunch of times because she and I have worked really closely together on ANT 101 for a long time, but there are people all across the university that I could probably come up with 20 names of people that I know have helped me out and have inspired me to be a better teacher and be better at service and all of this other stuff too. So just because your name hasn't been called doesn't mean that we don't appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. I appreciate the plug for UFP too. That's probably one of the most frequent comments I hear is, God, I'd love to do, but I don't have time. I just can't seem to, get out of my daily, my regular responsibilities. So I appreciate you both sharing to really take advantage of this opportunity offered through Ashford. Thank you for that. Any other ideas, questions for our panel? Anything else that has spoken to you today? It really is just a wonderful thing to realize how, as we teach, just the interplay of all 3 of these elements, how it just is just a natural part of what we do, and it's really inspiring to hear the stories of our distinguished panel today.
Thanks for leading us, Deb. You did a nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you bet. Well, I do want to be, thank you, Jason. I do want to be respectful of our time and of our audience members who are undoubtedly on their way to other TLC presentations. So once again, on behalf of the College of Education and Ashford University, I thank our distinguished panel and thank you all so much for being a part of our roundtable discussion. Hope to see you at the 3rd annual next year. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thank you.